Hey! You've made it! In the final part of our 3-part Champions Guide, we'll be talking about upgrading your Champions ranks, Champion skills, enlightenment, PvP battles, defending beacons, and much more. Remember, if you found these videos very useful, don't forget to like and share them with your friends. Knowledge is there to be shared! When you start playing with champions, you'll notice that all of their ranks are pretty low. So how do you increase them? Well, to increase a champion's rank, you must sacrifice other champions. The number of champions you need to sacrifice is equal to your chosen champion's current rank. To do this, the sacrificed champions must be of the same rank as the champion you wish to upgrade, but can be of any level or grade. For example, to upgrade a champion from rank 1 to rank 2, you'll need to sacrifice one rank 1 champion. If you want to upgrade the champion from rank 2 to rank 3, you need to sacrifice 2 rank 2 champions. You get the picture. After their rank is improved, your champion's level is reset, and you must once again bring them up to the highest available level in order to reach the next rank. If you don't have enough champions of the corresponding rank to sacrifice, you will need to increase the rank of those champions you plan to sacrifice. Champions of rank 2 or 3 might be better kept as food and used to increase your higher level champion's rank. Remember, the level of the champions you use for upgrading ranks doesn't matter. So don't bother too much about getting XP for the champions you want to sacrifice at their current grade. The next part is really important. Most champions have a set of 4 skills that affect one of the 4 unit types. Exceptions to these are the spine type champions, which specifically improve spine units, and resource champions, whose skills affect resource production and barn or warehouse capacity. To upgrade the champion skills, you will need to use an orb of a certain grade. Initially, each skill is level 0, and the maximum level they can reach is level 5. That means that to upgrade all of the champion skills to the maximum level, you will need 20 orbs. There is also another way to improve your champion skills – Enlightenment. There are 5 stages of Enlightenment, and each one boosts all the skills of your champion at once. To enlighten a champion, you will need to sacrifice another one of the same grade and type. The sacrificed champion will then disappear. Bang! Let's look at this example. You have a champion of the castle defense type. Their rank is 4, their level is 30, and their grade is 3. To enlighten this champion, you will need another castle defense type champion of grade 3. The level and rank do not matter. In terms of strategy, this basically means you should use duplicate champions to enhance your main champions. So, what else can your champions do? Let's take a look at why stationing champions at your castle can make a real difference to your strategy. You can station up to 3 champions at your castle to strengthen castle defense, or to improve resource production. Champions of the following types can be stationed at your castle: castle defense, spine, and resources. There may be many champions in any given battle, but your army can only be represented by one element in each. When one or more champions are activated at the castle, you can choose a dominant element. If you do not choose a dominant element, deactivate the champion with the dominant element, or this champion is stunned. The army defending your castle will remain without any element. If your castle is successfully attacked, the champions you had activated at the time will be left stunned. This is why it's preferable not to leave the castle defended only by champions. Your regular castle defense will play a big role too, but it's not only in PvP battles at your castle that champions are vital. When deploying your units on offensive or defensive missions, you can send champion whose type fits the mission. This will boost the army's combat statistics. Let's look at the function of champion types one by one. Up to 3 champions can be stationed at a friendly castle as reinforcements. However, the champion with the most developed skills will be the only one to affect the combat statistics of the units alongside them. You can also defend beacons with champions. However, if you do this, remember that champions stationed at beacons provide bonuses only to the units that were sent with them. At beacons, the dominant element will be the element that the most champions at the beacon have. If this is not possible, for example, if there are 3 champions, each having different elements, then no dominant element will be chosen. You can use champions to assist you during sieges. The champion will give bonuses to the other units sent alongside them, and if the siege is successful, they will be stationed in the castle as the reinforcement. Please note that the champions won't provide bonuses to the units defending the sieged castle. For this, you will need to send a champion of the defense or spine type. You can send up to 3 champions as reinforcements for besieged castle. The dominant element will be the element that the most champions at the besieged castle have. Champions can also help you with the PvE aspect of the game. There are 2 types of champions that can be used for battlegrounds, which are suited to attacking and defending respectively. Champions sent to the battlegrounds influence the power of the units they're sent with. Champions can be sent to saga quests, only to regular battlegrounds. We've almost covered all of the major features, but there's one massive point we still need to talk about – stunned champions. If a champion loses a battle, although not against undead, they will be stunned. During this time they cannot be used or upgraded. A rank 1 champion will remain stunned for 1 day, a rank 2 champion for 2 days, and so on up to rank 6 champion, which remains stunned for 6 days. However, if you really need your champions back up and running, you can recover a stunned champion immediately using emeralds, or by applying a special item to reduce the recovery time. That's it, folks. You've completed your champion training. I'm heading over to you now. I want to hear plenty of stories about how your champions helped you in battle. Thanks for listening and goodbye.